There has been lots of unexpected upsets this past weekend on the college basketball front, and as March Madness approaches, upcoming games like number 5 Illinois and number 3 Michigan are keeping fans at the edge of their seats for the end of the regular season. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Penn State Sports Night. I'm Casey Kummer alongside Hunter Pitcoff and Andrew Kalb. Tonight we will be discussing what is going on with some of the top college basketball teams around the nation. The Baylor Bears are undefeated no more after suffering a hard 71-58 loss Saturday night to the Kansas Jayhawks. Though the Bears are still projected as the number 1 seed heading into March Madness, the loss has them now projected 3rd overall behind Gonzaga and Michigan. The Bears have definitely been struggling to find their rhythm after a 21-day break. Hunter, how are you feeling about Baylor at the moment?
Well, it was inevitable that they were going to lose at some point. It's better happens now, though, for them than it does in the NCAA Tournament, I'd say. But look, this team, like Casey said, was out for basketball for 3 weeks. This is a team that shoots 43% from the three-point line, but they couldn't hit water if they threw a ball in the ocean against Iowa State and Kansas. So I expect that three-point shooting to just keep finding itself as the season does progress for this team. It's also worth noting, too, that they did get exposed a little bit. David McCormack for Kansas was basically a walking bucket in the paint. They could not stop him in any way, shape, or form. Baylor is not a really strong team interior defensively, although they are great guarding outside on the perimeter. But I will say, they're playing West Virginia. They're going to be playing Oklahoma State. And they're going to be playing Texas Tech. That is not an easy schedule to end the Big 12 for them. So if they're able to get some wins there, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, coming off of COVID pause, I don't think there's any reason to worry if you're a Baylor fan. You know, coming off of COVID pause for all the teams across the country has been tough all season long. And in my opinion, this was just another example of it. They started the week off pretty weak against the Big 12's worst team, Iowa State. And then they went to Kansas on Saturday night and suffered that bad loss. You know, when you have Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell just having terrible games, you're going to come out with a loss almost every single time. But I will give props to Kansas. They played a really good game. A win like this on their home court is really big for them in this part of the year. Just when you think Kansas and Bill Self is having an off year, they come out with a win like this. But like you said, they have 3 big games to end the season. And I think if they can go 3-0, 2-1, I expect that from a team like this. If they go 0-3, 1-2, I would start to worry if I'm a Baylor fan. But this loss is really nothing to worry about for me.
Baylor has had a tough slate of games still to play, starting with 10th-ranked West Virginia in Morgantown. Moving into Big Ten play, Ohio State lost by 16 points to Iowa on Sunday. The Buckeyes' recent struggles have them slipping down the Big Ten standings, now sitting at 5th in the conference. Andrew, what is the next step for Ohio State and Iowa? Where do they go from here?
Yeah, you know, in my opinion, this was a really telling game from both sides of the ball on Sunday. Ohio State has now lost their 3rd straight game, and they really need to put things together if they want to make any type of noise in the tournament. I think that they're really coming down on a downslope. They peaked earlier in the season. They were a number 1 seed for the last couple of weeks, but after this loss, I think that they lost their number 1 slot, and there's really no way they're getting it back. I mean, they're going to have big matchups in the Big Ten tournament, obviously, such a strong conference, but in my opinion, I don't really think they're going to win any of those games. Really, from the start, Iowa really did whatever they wanted on offense. Garza and that entire shooting team was just doing whatever they wanted. And as for a team like Iowa, who's really not known for the defensive side of the ball, keeping Ohio State to under 60 points is a really big confidence booster for them heading into the next couple of weeks. And if they can keep playing like they did on Sunday, I think they can make a lot of noise in March.
Yeah, I think that looking at Iowa in this game in particular, they had 19 total assists as a team that led to 46 points. So as Luka Garza, we know what he's going to do. He's probably going to win National Player of the Year for a reason. When it's those other guys also hitting shots, that's what's going to separate this Iowa team and make them a really deadly team. So those guys need to be more consistent. And like you said, I think Ohio State probably has to run the table basically and probably win the Big Ten tournament if they want to regain their number 1 status.
Also in Big Ten play, Illinois takes on Michigan in Ann Arbor Tuesday night. Michigan is coming off a strong showing against Indiana on Saturday. The Wolverines can secure the top seed in the Big Ten tournament with a win over the Fighting Illini. It would be their first conference title since 2014 and their second outright title since 1986. Hunter, who takes home the win here?
Well, now that I have a camera on me, I'm just going to say Juwan Howard should be Coach of the Year, and I don't want to even hear a debate. But looking at this game in particular, Ayo Dosunmu, that's going to be the key difference here. They do not stand a chance if he doesn't play. But I know he suffered a serious injury, but this is a big game. I think he's going to play and suit up. But I will say, for Michigan, they have a really, really good front line with Hunter Dickinson, Isaiah Livers, and they got Franz Wagner too. I mean, Kofi Coburn's a great big man for Illinois, but that's a lot for any player to handle. And that's why I think probably the hottest team in the country right now, Michigan's probably going to take this one.
Yeah, like you said, I think this game could really be in contention for the regular game of the season. This is just not the type of game you're used to seeing every week. A top 5 matchup could be potentially a Final Four national championship matchup. You're not used to seeing a game like this in conference play. But like you said, the health of Ayo Dosunmu is really going to be make or break for this game. The Fighting Illini really need him if they want to get any chance of beating the Wolverines. They've been flaming hot, the Wolverines, and I don't think anyone's stopping them. And if Ayo plays or not, I think Michigan's still going to win. But we're also going to get to see Kofi Cockburn and Hunter Dickinson go up against each other. And the health of Ayo is really going to be dependent on that too. If Ayo doesn't play, they're going to rely on Cockburn on their offensive side of the ball a lot, and that's a huge advantage for Michigan because I think Dickinson is a lot better player than Cockburn, and if he's not going to be able to hold Dickinson down, in my opinion, Michigan is going to win this game really easily and secure that Big Ten championship.
This game was originally supposed to tip off almost a month ago, but was postponed due to a COVID-19 related pause from Michigan's basketball program. Nevertheless, this should be a fun one. With Selection Sunday less than 2 weeks away, we'll see which teams punch their tickets into the big dance. However, which top teams do you feel are the most overrated and could potentially see an early round exit?
In my opinion, I think Villanova has to be the most overrated team. I think they showed their true colors on Sunday versus Butler, shooting terrible from the field. In my opinion, this team's really only a two-trick pony with Connor Gillespie and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. Jay Wright relies on them way too much, and that's just a recipe for disaster in March. Other than their starting 5, they really have no depth, and they really rely on the three-point shooting more than you really should. And we saw what can happen when they have an off day for shooting like they did versus Butler on Sunday. And I just think that everyone's relying on the name brand of Villanova to get things done in March. But this is just not the Villanova team that you're used to seeing year in and year out. They've been a really good, reliable team the past couple of years, winning a national championship only a few years ago. But this is just a different Villanova team from the past, and they're really not going to get it done in the tournament.
It's really hard to count out Jay Wright, I know. But at the same time, though, like you said, this is not one of his best Villanova teams if we're keeping it completely real. And I know Alabama did win the SEC title, at least for the regular season. I don't trust this team at all, though. I know they got hoopers that can put the ball in the basket, but Andrew, defense is half the game. And they're 190th in the country in points allowed per game. They average 19 fouls per game. That's not going to win you games in the tournament. I mean, if I was, Nate Oates, I'd be calling up Nick Saban being like, hey, how's it going? Can I borrow some of your 5-star recruits from Alabama, please? Thank you. Roll Tide. That's what I do. That's basically the only chance they're going to have to play defense. It's an effort thing, and they don't care at all. They can't even guard a Gatorade bottle for crying out loud. I think if Alabama, they can't get their act together on defense, I think it's a team that we can see get bumped out as soon as the first weekend.
As the regular season comes to a close, these last few games could pay huge dividends come postseason time. It seems that there might even be some shifting around for the top seeds going into the tournament. We are certainly in store for some exciting games over the next few weeks. That's all we have time for here on Penn State Sports Night. For Hunter Pitcoff and Andrew Kalb, I'm Casey Kummer. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.